Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of Spilling the Tea Leaves podcast. My name is Michelle. You can find me at Remember Love on Instagram, and you can also find me online at rememberlovehealing.com. As I am sitting here this morning with my hot cup of coffee and my notes ready to get our next episode for the Chakra healing series, you may have noticed that the other half of Spilling the Tea Leaves is not with us today. She is taking some personal time for some self-care and self-healing, and I wish her all the best. I'm always sending her love, and I know you guys are too. So I'm going to carry the torch the rest of the way for us on my own. So it might feel a little different for you, especially since, for me especially, I work with a lot of back and forth banter, and with Rachel, it was so much easier and so much fluid to do this podcast. But the show must go on, as they say. And I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you continue to take part. Our mission is always to empower those and educate those who are wanting to come into their own private practice or own spiritual practice. And I hope to continue to do that with you. In addition, I will start doing interviews of other members of the community, of the spiritual community. So I'm hoping to get a few people lined up for you for right after the Chakra series is done. And I do hope you enjoy that. So our last episode, which feels, and I'm pretty sure was like weeks ago that we did it, we went not too in depth on chakras. We briefly talked about chakras and what they do, how they work, and the different systems that were available as far as chakra healing. And today I really, really want to go deep into your root chakra and how it works, why it works, how do you know when it's off balance? And it's funny because this past couple weeks I have sort of stumbled upon this like a YouTube rabbit hole, and I know a lot of you guys do this often. And in this YouTube rabbit hole, because I am going through a whole self-care thing for me too, where I'm trying to be healthier and I'm trying to eat the right foods and trying to cut out like meats and dairy and flour and things like that, all the things that we know that are not really generally good for us. And while I was Googling or searching things on YouTube, I found this YouTuber, and her name is Amberlyn Reed. Now, Amberlyn Reed started, I want to say like about 4 or 5 years ago on YouTube, and she started like as a really, really small channel. And I'm hoping I'm still getting this right. She started off as a weight loss channel. And as I was kind of like going in through her videos, I just kept seeing like these comments that weren't so very nice about her. And I couldn't understand why so many people were hating on her and offering these like just negative comments in general. Anyway, so as I'm like watching her videos, I've noticed that from the beginning of her weight loss journey 4 years ago, she's managed to gain about 300 pounds. And as I am watching her and she's vlogging her life, I notice a lot of things that are really associated with an imbalance in your root chakra. And while this particular person needs to get mental health care quickly, she needs to have a professional with her. She really exhibited a lot of signs of what it's like to really be off balance with your root chakra. Like this is an intense imbalance, if not just a complete blockage and shutdown of your root chakra. Now, your root chakra, also called in Sanskrit Muladhara, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it wrong. Visually, it's a square with four lotus petals. Now, your root chakra, relating back to this particular YouTube, it's related to like your basic needs. It is your bare minimum. It is your food. It's being connected and grounded. It's a do I belong here scenario. It is your survival root chakra. It is your stability. It is security. It is, do you feel safe? It is, are you being fed? It is your basic, this is your basic minimum of being alive. It is what you need to be alive. You need food, you need shelter, you need security. Now, when your root chakra is off balance, there is a restlessness about you. It is a sense of, for example, when you're home, and this has happened to me a couple of times, and saying, oh God, you're home. You know you're home. You're like, oh, I just want to go home. But you're home. There's a sense of not being on safe grounds, not being on secure grounds, of saying this is a place where I can rest my head. There's a lack of energy as well. There is anxiety, worry. Depression is a lot of times related to your root chakra. It is a lack of focus. Low self-esteem also has to do a lot with this chakra. Negative thinking patterns, negative thinking about life in general. You really have a narrow way to look at things. And then you start obsessing over material things, like obsessing over money, obsessing over just anything. And it goes to the opposite way. So sometimes, while many people don't necessarily want to work and there's a lack of energy, the other extreme is becoming a workaholic, everything being centered around work. Like sometimes you meet those people that just don't shut up about what they do for a living, and it's about what they do and how they do it and how much money they make and the perks of the job, and it's a lot. So this particular YouTuber, and I'm going to go back to her in a few times throughout this episode, there's also a sense, there's a symptom of binge eating. And if you ever go see her online, you can, unfortunately, people have been calling her like a social experiment on YouTube, because there is no rhyme or reason that you can't get through to her. She makes about $10,000 an episode for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, $10,000 a month off YouTube. Let me correct that. She makes $10,000 a month on YouTube. So there is a big incentive for her to put her life out there. But as you are watching her, she knows she's a binge eater, but she always has access to these unhealthy foods in her home. She starts hoarding things like perfumes from Bath and Body Works and candles, and she has thousands of notebooks and hundreds of bottles of perfume. She has these like torrid hauls where she's constantly collecting clothes that sometimes they fit, sometimes they don't. She has like these candy, like it is just this obsessive compulsive need to buy and collect and hoard. And she has said that she did have a lot of childhood trauma. She was in the foster care system. And this is root chakra stuff. This is stuff of not being secure, not feeling safe, not feeling grounded, the binge eating, the not feeling like you're at home. She lives with roommates who are friends of her life partner, of her partner. And it's just, you could visually see it, and you can get a sense of this is not a healthy person. She's not healthy physically, she's not healthy emotionally, and she's not healthy spiritually. And a lot of the times, of course, all those things go hand in hand. So if you're not seeking help through a healthcare professional, which she has a few times, and she stopped because she doesn't hear what she wants to hear, then a lot of other things start manifesting themselves. Those who have issues with their root chakra, under lower chakras in general, also have a tendency to be overweight. They start collecting fat around their abdomen. For example, going into the solar plexus, which is where a lot of energy comes through when you're speaking to somebody, we sometimes have a tendency to cross our arms in front of our solar plexus to protect ourselves. And for those who are extra sensitive, then they start creating this layer of like belly fat around their solar plexus to protect them, to protect that area. And your root chakra is the same, but you protect it by just gaining weight and keeping it nice and cushioned. So there is a literal barrier and border between yourself or your chakra and those around you. Now, your root chakra, the color is red. It is this intense red. It is that visual stop signs are red because it is impactful. Like this chakra is important. This is our am I safe space. When it is balanced, we feel calm, we feel safe, and we feel at home. We feel secure in ourselves. There is confidence. Our anxiety seizes up a little less on us. It kind of calms down. It is our obsessions over material things are not so obsessive. Now, I understand at some point, if you're listening to this podcast, there is a level of privilege. You are privileged enough to be able to live in a place where you're able to listen to this. You're privileged enough to be able to have a device where you can listen to this podcast or any podcast. So at some level, we are pretty sheltered is not the word that I want to use, but we're pretty good as far as having what we need to feel grounded and secure in our root chakra. Now, and I'm not saying that basic needs are all that we need. When you are somebody who does not have, when you are somebody who is poor or has less than those around you, there is still a sense of lack. And that does affect our root chakra. That does affect how we are perceiving things around us and affecting us at an energetic level. Sometimes for those who don't have enough, are well balanced in your root chakra, everybody's different. Everybody works on a different level. Everybody has a different threshold. So really take a look at, do you feel safe where you are? Do you feel cared for? Do you feel loved? Do you feel that you have enough? Do you feel that you're not owned by your material things? Now, stones are a really good way to help heal those chakras. For your root chakras, you have a lot of black stones and red stones that vibrate at the same energetic level as your root chakra. My favorite stones, I actually have a lot of favorite stones, so I'm always saying that. My favorite stones. All my stones are favorite stones. But my most favorite stones for your root chakras is garnets. Garnet is a red color. You can find garnet in, oh my God, I think in Brazil, maybe Eastern Europe. I know in the Czech Republic, there was garnet everywhere. Like it was just everywhere at all the jewelry stores. And I want to say that they were mined somewhere in the area. But garnet is a really, really good grounding stone. It is red. It's inexpensive for the most part. You can get it anywhere. There's varying qualities. There is the ones that tumble stones that you can find anywhere. There's strands of them. They're pretty inexpensive. And of course, they go all the way up to like the beautiful, large gemmy stones that are set in jewelry. Now, I like to pair it with smoky quartz, which is also a really, really, really good grounding stone. And I always talk about smoky quartz, and I think it's just like this fab stone that works for and with everybody. Smoky quartz is a really good grounding stone. It helps remove negative energy, not only from yourself, but in the around your area. So like if you have somebody who, and we all have them, like energy vampires, these are people that are just sucking in the energy from other people. And sometimes they don't realize that they're doing it. Like they have no idea that they are energy vampires, that they are Debbie Downers, that they're just sucking in the life out of any room. Smoky quartz really protects you from people like that, from just vibrational energies that really don't serve you. So it creates like this super shield around you, and it transmutes a lot of negative energy, almost unlimited. So it doesn't have to be cleansed or charged as often. It also, for those who are not familiar with smoky quartz, instead of making you vibrate at a higher frequency like a few other stones do, smoky quartz kind of brings the higher vibing frequencies down to your level. So, for example, if you are prone to seeing, some people like see ghosts, or they see spirit guides, or just things that are just a little beyond the veil, it kind of brings that into your vibrational energy so that you're able to see it better and clear. So this is a really good stone also for those who are just starting off on their spiritual journey, and those who are more open to working with guides, more of those who are open to working with things that we may consider paranormal per se. Black tourmaline is another one that's really, really good. It's a really good grounding stone. Black tourmaline, I'm going to say, is one of those stones that I have some issues working with directly. It's one of those stones that it's almost like too grounding for me. So I invite everybody to experiment with crystals. Sometimes you vibe with them really well. Sometimes you don't vibe with them, and that's okay. There's no wrong or right way of doing it. But black tourmaline, aside from being a really good grounding stone and really working with your root chakra, is one of those stones that when we go to sleep at night and we dream, we tend to, I believe that everybody astral travels. I believe that everybody's spirit goes to another plane, another dimension, and we're able to do that through sleep. It's a moment where our soul gets to kind of go on its own and explore, right? Black tourmaline is a stone that kind of keeps your body centered and grounded and tethered to this earthly plane. So for me, black tourmaline, the first time I tried it, and the second night actually too, because I gave it another shot, it was one of those where I fell asleep and I swore I opened my eyes 5 minutes later. There was zero relaxation. There was zero rest. My mind, it was like I blinked and now I went to sleep at 10 and all of a sudden it's 6 a.m. and I got zero rest. So if you are like me and black tourmaline is one of those stones that is just it's not your jam, I usually recommend either pairing it with rose quartz or placing the black tourmaline further away at the furthest corner of the room where you still get some of the benefits but not as heavy. So it just more than likely means that you're super sensitive to it like I am. Obsidian is another good one. Obsidian is a volcanic rock. It's like glass, essentially. It is lava that has cooled rapidly and turned into glass. There's several types of obsidian. There is golden sheen obsidian. There's peacock obsidian, which has these beautiful like rainbow colors. And with obsidian, and I know I'm going really heavy on the crystals in this particular episode because, hey, I'm doing it by myself, and B, I love crystals. Obsidian is black. There are areas around the world where you might find something slightly colored, but there has been an influx in the market where there are this glass slags. So they are the equivalent of like glass Skittles. They're really, really colorful. They're like bright purple and bright green and bright yellow. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say this to you, but those are fakes. They are not real. There's no such thing. It is just another way to get you to buy something that you don't need. It is straight up man-made glass. Somebody, I think it was a couple of weeks ago where I saw somebody post something like, oh, look at my new, I want to say it's called Antara. glass or Antara obsidian or Antara something. And they were saying that it grows or it's only mined in as one area in the world and it's super rare. And it was glass. It was slag glass. It's a piece of glass. So obsidian, normal obsidian, regular obsidian is black. You will find golden sheens to it. I do have two specimens. And you can see like this light sparkly reflection to it or rainbow reflection to it. That's golden sheen obsidian and peacock obsidian. Another stone that works really good for grounding is black kyanite and hematite. And those are really popular stones. They're readily available and you can buy them at any metaphysical shop or you can find them online. Those are not really... I can't say that they are, oh, wow, what's the word? I'm getting really stuck today. It's not imitated a lot, so there's not a lot of fakes of those out there. So foods. Foods is another way that you can help balance your chakras. When it comes to your root chakras, red fruits are really big in helping you find that balance again, which is something that I have found myself eating a lot of lately. As a matter of fact, it is almost lunchtime here, so that's probably what I'm going to make today for lunch. It is red bell peppers. It is tomatoes. It is watermelons. It's red fruits. I am trying to think of more red fruits right now, and nothing is coming into my head. So red fruits, red strawberries, wow, strawberries and apples, and your body is going to ask for these. And this is where I always say that you really have to be mindful and pay attention to what your body is craving. Your body is going to crave healthy, clean, natural foods. It's going to crave clean foods. It's going to crave very specific foods. Like sometimes I crave spicy meals, like with lots of red chilies. And I'm not usually a spicy person, but that tells me one of two things. That usually tells me that my thyroid is out of whack because I do have hypothyroidism. And it also tells me that I am potentially missing out on balancing my root chakra. So red foods are really good for you in order to help you can maintain and keep that balance. Essential oils that are good are sandalwood, rosemary, frankincense, black pepper. And again, like with foods, you can cook with some of these, and or you can burn them on a burner. You can use them as essential oils. You can place them on your skin if they're safe. Do your research because not everything is safe to put on your skin. I am speaking to my very active essential oil users. Be careful what you put on your skin. There's so much misinformation, like with everything else in the world, and we just want to make sure that we're doing the safest thing that we can for ourselves. The element, of course, the element of your root chakra is the earth. It is what you're connected to. So with that, a lot of other tactics or other techniques that you can use to help you come back into balance is going outside and walking barefoot on the grass if you're able to, if it's not snowing, obviously. Gardening helps. I have a little bit obscene obsession with plants lately, and I'm going to go into a whole little rant, not rant, but like a speech on plants and within the new generations. So plants, working with your hands, getting your hands dirty, walking outside barefoot in the grass, walking outside at the beach works as well too. That really helps you connect to the Mother Earth energy, to la Pachamama, and really helps you get grounded and connected. It helps you release the positive ions because in this scenario, the negative ions are good. Positive ions, we just kind of want to get rid of. It really helps you disperse some of the energy and also work with that tactile. Like it helps you feel connected. It helps you commune with Mother Earth. Now, I've been reading so many articles lately about people having plants inside their home, and I've seen like these posts on Instagram, and I've seen articles and YouTube videos, and they're calling the people that collect plants the new cat lady. And I have to say, it makes sense to me. Like, a lot of people right now are becoming more enlightened and more aware of what their needs are and what they can bring balance. And for the most part, a lot of us live in either a place where outside is not the best for growing plants, or we live in the city and we don't have access to. I mean, if you live in the middle of New York and you're going to go outside and walk barefoot next to a tree where I'm sure a lot of dogs have done their business, I mean, people are going to look at you crazy, or I mean, people in New York look at you crazy anyway, but they are going to think you are absolutely insane. A, for going outside barefoot, and B, for like rubbing up against the tree. So, well, the next best solution is bringing these plants inside, like being surrounded by greenery and being able to care for another living thing that is providing something essential, aka oxygen, but is also giving you the opportunity to be one with Mother Nature and to get rid of these positive ions, to get your hands dirty and to feel connected to Mother Earth. Like, it makes sense, it makes you happy. There was an article a couple weeks ago that says that people that live near areas where there is a lot of green spaces tend to be happier. So yeah, bring those green spaces inside. Like, go nuts. What is we call it in English they call it money plant as well. It's an ivy plant that I'm sure all your moms had, all your dads had, all your grandparents had. It's this plant that never dies and just continues to keep growing. And they create these beautiful vines. I mean, yeah, bring the plants in, bring Mother Nature in, put them, have them grow next to your window. It is, yeah, do it. It's going to keep you happy. It's going to help keep your root chakra grounded. It's going to give you something to, take care of, which is, sometimes we need something to take care of as well. And all they need is a little bit of water and a little bit of love. And if you start growing herbs, and you can start going, doing your own, I mean, just bring the plants in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to make you happy. You're doing something for the environment, and it's just good. It's good grounding stuff. So what else? We're almost done with this podcast. See, when I'm by myself, we can knock this out in like 30 minutes or less. Now, so like I mentioned, walking barefoot, gardening, putting your hands in the dirt, chanting and meditation, of course, will always help balance those chakras. If you focus on a single chakra, it's going to bring a lot of energy into those energy centers. So for your root chakra, there is a specific chant, which is LAM, LAM, and repeating this over and over during meditation is really going to help bring that red grounding energy into your root chakra. So repeating repeating a mantra, meditating, and focusing on the areas that need help works as well. For your root chakra, when you imagine a red fireball light in your root chakra area, it is going to help ignite it, and it's going to help balance it. And while meditation is going to help it bring it back into balance, it's also going to help you realize what is it that you're needing to bring it into balance. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. That was my dog sneezing. It's going to help bring it into balance. It's going to help you realize what you need to bring it into balance. It might be the foods that you're eating. They're not being centered around what your body is physically asking you. It could be that you are obsessing over material things. You're obsessing over money. And when you meditate and you quiet yourself and you hear what the universe is saying and what it's trying to communicate with you, you're going to be able to make those changes necessary. You're going to be able to make those changes necessary to bring you back into harmony. You're going to make those changes necessary to bring you back into balance. And meditating is a chance to be truthful with yourself. Nobody is judging. It is just you and the universe having a conversation, and you being honest, and you're just letting down all your filters and all your guards and realizing what is it that you need? What is it that you need to make yourself feel whole and safe and grounded. Yoga is awesome too at helping balance your chakras. There are specific yoga positions to help focus on very exact chakras or all your chakras. So if you are into yoga, you can always look for videos on YouTube that help bring those energy centers back to balance. There's also, YouTube is like a wealth of information, FYI. Like, if you do nothing except go on YouTube, there are videos that work on frequencies that are meant to help bring certain energies into your life. For example, there's music that is meant to remove blockages, or music meant to balance your chakras. There's music meant to open up doors for positive thinking, manifesting abundance, things like that. So if you go on YouTube, there's tons and tons of videos and how-tos on how to bring back that, or how to remove those negative energies and bring your energy centers back into harmony. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for your root chakra episode. I hope that you learned something. I hope that I provided some information or some clarity as far as what your root chakra is. Again, my name is Michelle. You can find me at Remember Love. You can find me online at Remember Healing. I am available for conversations. I want to say thank you for listening to me talk by myself. It's really different for me not having somebody to kind of take half of the weight, and I appreciate you guys hanging on and listening and being a part of it and everything. I want to say thank you to everybody who follows me on my Instagram. You guys are like the most amazing humans that I've ever connected with, and I am so happy to have connected with you guys individually. If you are ever on my Instagram taking a look at my what I call them, my new age memes, or the information I provide on crystals and healing, whatever, just shoot me a DM and say, hey, I found your podcast. I love you, or hate you. Please tell me you love me. And I would like to connect with you guys. I love connecting with people, like-minded people especially. I believe I mentioned this last time. If not, I'm going to mention it again. Next year, I am hosting a Crystal Reiki workshop. So I'm certifying level 1 Crystal Reiki in Miami for 2020. I have to stop saying the we. I am certifying those who are interested in becoming level 1 Crystal Reiki practitioners. So you are essentially able to perform Reiki on yourself and on others. I will be providing symbols, and there's going to be like care packages for those who have signed up. So that's going to be in Miami 2020. I'll have the exact dates for you hopefully soon, and the location. We're probably looking into a yoga studio if I can find one. If not, I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. And then I will be hosting a retreat in Kenya in 2021, which I am super, super duper excited about, mainly because this is an opportunity for me to not only teach those who are interested and create this just giant experience for those, but it's also going to be an opportunity for us to give back to those who are less fortunate. And I can't wait. I am beyond excited about that one. I'm also excited about Miami. I'm just excited. I'm an excited person, guys. Like, I just can't wait. So make sure that you are following me on Remember Love for all the up-to-date information. You can also find me on rememberlovehealing.com. You can also find this podcast at spillingthetealeaves.com. And our Instagram is Spilling Leaves, along with our Twitter, which is Spilling Leaves. Hopefully we'll be updating our Instagram soon. And as far as Rachel, if everybody can just send her some love and send her some light, so whatever she is currently going through will be as easy as possible. Thank you again so much for joining me. Make sure you catch us on YouTube as well, Spilling the Tea Leaves podcast. And I will see you guys next time for our sacral chakra. It's going to be good. I'm going to rate that one rated R. I'm convinced. All right, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you're listening to this on August the 15th, it is a full moon today, Sturgeon moon. So happy full moon blessings to you. Love and light.